This is Up for Debate, episode number 302, recorded September 17th, 2025. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Up for Debate, the debate podcast where the two hosts agree on everything. I'm Sean. Who am I? I'm Sean Jennings, and I'm joined, as always, by our own Racer X. It is Matt Mariani. Good evening, Matt.
Sean, I was waiting for you to do that intro, like with you like mouthing the words, and then I would have like you're speaking Japanese, like Speed Racer,
Well, I,
classic
I
Speed
feel like
Racer.
I have camera issues tonight, and I feel like I'm a little anime here, kind of
Yeah,
little stop and
I
start.
thought that was on purpose. Thought you were
I,
trying to
I
be like,
am. I'm sure Mac OS updated just to do this on purpose. No, Matt, we got a barn burner here tonight. I really think so. We're continuing our movies by decade series. We're looking at the films of the 2000s, 2000 through 2009. We're going to start with 20 and whittle our way down to one, the movie that best represents the decade. We've already done a couple of these. We talked through our action movies and that one split. We did our kids' movies, which was a lot of fun last week. And this week it's host's choice, where we each got to choose two movies of any genre. We've got four of them here. We're going to talk about. Matt, are you excited about tonight's films? Are you annoyed about tonight's films? How are you feeling?
um, excited, 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 a little annoyed, but also excited. So
All right,
that's how
I
that's how I
listen.
sorted out.
This is a dynamite collection of. I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of excited as well because there is something to talk about for every one of these movies. I'll give them that. Um, and I think it's gonna be a good time. Matt, is there anywhere you'd like to start? Well, you know what I should mention. While you decide the first movie we're going to talk about, I do want to thank everybody, not only who listens on the recorded version, but is listening live right now on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Up for Debate TV. You can join us live. Make sure you follow so you get an alert when we do the show. If you're watching live, you can comment. We'll be reading them as the show goes on. Your thoughts on our movies or anything else we discuss. Matt, where are we going to start on our four films tonight?
Ooh, there's a lot of options here on the table, Sean. If you don't mind, I think we should start with the Pussycats.
Absolutely. Good choice, Matt. Our first movie this evening is 2001's Josie and the Pussycats, directed by Harry Elefant and Deborah Kaplan, based on the Archie comic series and Hanna-Barbera cartoon of the same name, starring Rachel Lee Cook, Tara Reid, and Rosario Dawson. An underperformer at the box office, while technically profitable, not exactly a wild success, releasing April 11th, 2001. Matt, this was one of my picks for tonight, one of my host choice. I don't want to go too much into it because I actually want to hear your thoughts first. But the reason I picked it is because I just really love this movie for some reason. I guess we'll find out in conversation. And I do think it is a very good movie at what it's trying to accomplish. And I do think it plays into our 2000s historical discussion as maybe a 90s hangover, but it does describe the 2000s well. We'll dig in. Matt, was this your first time seeing the movie, and what'd you think?
Yeah, this was the first time I had seen it. I I remember the advertising when it came out vaguely, almost like it was kind of a like Mandela effect for me because I don't remember the movie being made, and I vaguely remember the ad campaign surrounding it. And it really does seem very illusory. It doesn't seem like and I was like, wait, this movie actually got made. It got greenlit. They filmed it, everything. But I had never seen it before. I missed it in 2001, and I have to say that I really liked it. Liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
It's got like a charm to it that I kind of, I guess, where I was in 2001, this was definitely not marketed toward me,
Hmm.
like being a 10-year-old boy, but like now, having watched it's pretty cool. It was a pretty cool and fun movie. It was fun. I guess that's like it was a lot of fun. A little corny, a little bit cornball in some places, but overall, like, I think this is it's a good satirical approach to the whole genre with the girl band and the pop stars, kind of takes the piss out of it a little bit, I guess. And I don't know, it was a good time. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I liked it. I picked it. Um, I have seen this movie maybe a dozen times, and watching it back for this, I still laughed at stuff. I think it is just a very funny movie. I think there's some really clever writing. It's funny. You're right. This movie could stray off the line so easily. It is set up for failure. You just hear the name of this movie and you're like, that sucks. And I think it does a great job of being satirical without it being annoying. I think it's funny without being cornball. I think the acting is good, but not. I think it just clicks. It's a movie that weirdly clicks together really well. And by the end of it, you're like, I had fun, but I also got the moral of the story. It was goofy, but in a way I really enjoyed. Um, and it does have laugh out loud moments. And I can see why. Listen, if I were a film marketing department, this movie would scare the shit out of me. How do you market this movie? It's really hard to do. And I watched the trailers for it and stuff, and it
Yeah.
was not sold what you ended up getting.
Because the first thing I thought of is I was thinking like when I had the thought this movie wouldn't have really been for me. I was like, well, who would it have been for? You know, it's like it's based on an Archie comic strip
Yeah.
from the 70s, and but the characters are I don't are the characters different or because I remember the cartoon. There's like the in the 80s you had like the cartoon.
Yep.
Was that the one with like the shark? There's like a talking shark or something.
That was a different Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Okay, totally different. All right.
Um, yes, no.
Uh,
So the five main characters of the
yeah.
film, the three girls, and then the Cabot siblings,
Mhm.
as their agents, those are all based on the comic characters. In fact, one of the jokes I enjoyed in the movie that I thought represented well was when he says, "You know what? I still don't understand why you're here." And she says, "I'm here because I was in the comic book." And he goes, "What?" And she goes, "Nothing." And it's true.
Yeah.
That is the only reason she's there, is because she's from the comic book. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's really everything beyond that is an invention for this movie.
But this is it's very ambitious, you know, it's like it's very cross-generational because you have the comic book enjoyers versus the cartoon enjoyers versus the now you have a whole another modern audience in the early 2000s that you're marketing towards, and, um, I'm wondering if the goal was, like, for the like, to get mom to see it with her daughter kinda thing,
But it
like
doesn't
a
feel like it's
mother-daughter thing.
and that's the
But
hard
it
thing.
didn't but that's just it. It wasn't written didn't really seem like it was written for that. It was the jokes land no matter who you are, which I thought was, like, one of this film's strengths.
The problem is this film was written for 30-year-old guys to watch it 20 years after it came out. Like, it's a perfect
Like we're doing
rewatch
now.
now. Like,
Yeah.
then I agree, it's not for young children.
Mhm.
It's not really for older adults. I think it makes fun of young culture in a way that I think a young culture wouldn't enjoy and an old culture wouldn't get. It's great for what it is in a bubble, but I agree, it is a great retrospective movie. And that's why it's on a lot of like cult classic films lists, because it was, I think, in a lot of ways, when you talk about the history and the time here, it's a little ahead of its time in a way. Um, how it's commenting on uh our our consumerism culture, but I don't think it's at the end of the movie, they don't shove it back in your face that that was the message the whole time. It really is the story of the characters, um, that I think works really well. I mean, I'm here on the IMDb quotes page just reading some of these lines, and it's like, some of these are so funny. If I could go back in time and change everything back, I would. That's really cool. If I could go back in time, I would want to meet Snoopy. I mean, I think Tara Reid is very funny in this movie. I give her credit. She's not my favorite actress, but goddamn, she plays that role really well. She had so many good lines.
Mm. Of
Or
course, you have
yeah,
the return of Alan Cumming. This is now I think the
he's a
second movie.
superstar. He's an up for
He
debate
was a
superstar. His
2000
third
yeah.
appearance,
Uh-huh. He's up there with the likes of Harrison Ford, um,
absolutely a
being
legend.
an up for debate legend. Um, I and these the actors, I admit, like, I wasn't super familiar with.
Well,
Uh,
they purposefully cast
the cast.
unknowns. That's what's really
Mhm.
interesting. Probably didn't help them sell the movie, but they intentionally, Tara Reid was the most famous of these 3 when this movie came out. So, I
Yeah.
think, that was definitely intentional, and I thought both, Rosario Dawson and Rachel Lee Cook were fantastic. Really the biggest stars were, Alan Cumming and, Parker Posey.
Yeah, it's weird, like, a big movie right now is this, K-pop Demon Hunters. A
Yeah.
lot of people are talking about that, and watching I haven't seen that, but I know kind of what it's about, and this movie kind of has a lot of it's weird, it's almost like a lot of the tropes in this movie are also in side by side in K-pop Demon Hunters, because it's about, like, there's a boy band that's, like, really famous, and but, like, secretly, I don't know if I would say secretly evil, but, like, there's like a there's like a in the K-pop Demon Hunter world, I think they are. There's just a lot of, like, interesting comparisons between the two that I just thought, like, I wonder if the people who saw that took some kind of, like, inspiration for Josie and the Pussycats. If there's, like, an evil boy band that's trying to, like, steal people's souls or something, and then the girl band has to stop them. I
Remember,
know that
Matt,
that's
did you
not exactly what Josie and the Pussycats is
no.
about, but there is that, like, kind of, like, rivalry and stuff, and it's where they made their mint. So it's cool.
Remember, Matt, du jour means friendship. Uh, no, the one other thing I wanna say about the movie is the songs are excellent. I think the fake songs, this may be one of my favorite fake songs movie, because I think they are really good and really catchy and really well written. Now, when it comes to a 2000s movie, which is what we're here to talk about, I'm kind of 2 minds, right? Which is, it does feel very 90s. TRL, which, by the way, I thought with Carson Daly was very funny, where it's just a bunch of cardboard and they go in and wait a second, this isn't
Yeah.
TRL. Like, that's just really funny. Um, and so it does feel a little like CDs and 90s and things like that, but it also portended a future that, while we don't have subliminal messaging, or we don't think we do at least, um, consumer culture has become a big part. Not only in terms of it being part of our culture, but also the backlash to it. And so I'm kind of torn. Did this feel like a 2000s movie to you?
That's the thing. In some ways, like, some of the aesthetics, like, with the concert aesthetics, the technology, yes. Some of the, like, the filmography, yes. Like, shooting behind it, yes, but not. I wouldn't say really. It didn't really capture the 2000s essence. And I mean that in a good way. I think it really was very kind of universal. Um, every time, like, you could watch it now, and I I I don't know. I didn't. It doesn't to me. It didn't seem like extremely too, like, aggressively 2000s. Maybe, like, looking back, like, it could have been. This could have been like 2015. This could have been like, um 2021. It didn't. Nothing in it. I mean, other than maybe the fashion. The fashion might have. This might be the most 2000s fashion forward movie that we've seen
Yes.
so far.
Yes, a lot of
Mhm.
brands
Yeah.
mentioned, and many of which don't exist anymore. A
Mhm.
lot of AOL references and things like that. Very true. Which, by the way, fun fact: there wasn't a single dollar of product placement in the entire movie. They didn't take a single dollar; those were all just there, put there for comedy.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, no, I agree with you to that degree. I don't think it's absurdly 2000s, but I do think it speaks to many of the themes of the 2000s. If that makes any sense. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Exposing you to something new. Definitely a favorite of mine that I enjoyed rewatching. Now,
I just want to
anything else?
respond over here to
Yes.
Jelly Jubilee in the chat, with kind of giving me an idea here. Maybe we want to do another Patreon viewing party episode like we did for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Maybe Up for Debate watches K-pop Demon Hunter.
That would be a
Maybe.
fun one, only because if you remember for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you hadn't seen it, I had. I have not seen K-pop Demon Hunters.
Mhm.
So going in totally like unprompted would be very interesting.
Yeah, it's an
Now we might
idea.
also get sued into oblivion, but
Yeah, because the last I remember the last watch along we did was just for that that Spider-Man. We
well,
watched the
that one
Spider-Man
was
play.
fine. The
Yeah.
problem was, if you remember, we did one for Space Jam
Yeah.
that the video version never got published because YouTube, no matter what I did, would not let me publish us essentially the whole movie of Space Jam. So
Yeah.
we'll have to keep an eye on that. But it's a good idea.
Indeed.
Now, Matt, what's interesting is this was a movie you hadn't seen. Only one of these four I hadn't seen, and that was one of your choices. Which would be maybe the next one we'll talk about, 2008's Speed Racer, based on the famed anime series directed by the Wachowski sisters, starring Emile Hirsch and Christina Ricci alongside John Goodman and Susan Sarandon, plus Michael Fox, Matthew Fox, I should say. A box office disappointment on a very high CGI budget, every dollar of which you see on the screen. Matt, I will tell you, if I had to do a log line for Speed Racer, the most fun I've ever had getting a headache. That movie, I can't even imagine what this thing looks like on like an IMAX screen. I think I would like my eyes would melt into goo inside my skull.
So many colors. So
This
many
movie,
flashing lights and colors.
I'm glass half full on this, where I'm like, I appreciate the anime, the roots, right? And I feel like there's a distinct visual style that's stuck through, and they stick the landing on it. Like, it doesn't feel bad, like it doesn't look bad, but gosh, if they had just taken it down just a couple notches, like there was, by the way, I have to be very clear, I did not finish the movie. I got about 30
What?
minutes into it. I'm not joking, and I did get a headache, and I said, okay, I get it. I've seen enough.
Wrong.
I'm not going to finish it. And I read the rest
Wrong.
as a written plot, because literally, what was the scene? It was the scene where they had visited Royalton's like facility, and they're driving through, and there's like all these vignettes that go by, while at the same time other things are going by while they're going by, and I was like, I can't watch another minute of this. I just can't. I was
Wow.
enjoying it, but I just said, I had a headache, and I said, I need to turn this off. So that was my Speed Racer experience.
So I'm trying to find the channel I watched it on. There's a movie YouTube artist, YouTube creator, YouTube channel. And he does this breakdown of a scene from the Speed Racer film, and it recontextualizes this movie for me, because I think without having watched this one video, I don't know if I would have enjoyed this movie as much. But actually, like having watched that first and then watched the film, I had a better time with this, a much better time. And so it's Patrick H. Willems. That's the YouTube channel, the YouTube channel and person that made this video, and it's breaking down one shot from the movie. And he actually said, he goes as far as to claim it's the most important shot of the 21st century for film. And it actually might be what you were just describing, like the vignette. Because it's something that had really never been done in cinema before, and I don't really know if it has been done since, but it's that idea of like the like one shot continuing while other things are happening in the background that are telling a different story, and then like all of a sudden you're pulled out of the frame into that, and it's all still like one continuous motion shot. The trouble is that I think the rest of the movie is just so loud visually, so visually loud that
Yeah.
you get kind of scooped up in that. But I don't know. I was obsessed with John Goodman in this film. I have to say, I was waiting for him to be. I just enjoy John Goodman, and seeing him as uh seeing him in this movie, it just made me. It brought me a lot of joy. I was always like waiting for him to come in and say something with his big mustache.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. To be honest, Emil Hirsch maybe my least favorite actor in this. I thought he was fine, but I
Yeah.
thought Christina Ricci, Susan Sarandon, Matthew Fox, even the annoying little kid, I thought was were all better. But I agree with you, Matt. I think this movie has some of the best CGI I've ever seen, and the stuff they do with it. Again, it's that anime influence where when you shoot a movie, the background is fixed and your character moves in front of it. In this movie, the characters and the backgrounds were moving simultaneously. They were layering the motion in.
Mhm.
A, incredibly difficult to do, but B, gives it that dynamic look, that anime look, that gives me a headache, but most people really enjoy. Um, and there wasn't a single, and by the way, we'll talk about, because I think the next two movies we talk about have interesting CGI elements that I want to talk about. But the movie looked great. That it's directed the hell out of it. And this is, we could talk about the Wachowskis. Obviously, maybe the most influential directors of this decade. With the Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolutions, um, writing and producing V for Vendetta in '05, then this film. Highly influential. But this film, and I don't know, have you ever seen Jupiter Ascending, Matt?
No,
I
definitely have
should have.
heard of it.
Oh my gosh. That is a movie that's so terrible. That was like a movie that was on cable and I've seen like in little bits and pieces. It is maybe the worst written movie. It's abysmal, but it looks incredible. It looks so good because they directed it, but they shouldn't be writing movies.
Mm.
That's my feeling on the Wachowskis, where just their stuff looks they're brilliant directors, um, but when they write stories, and I felt this one, they meander a bit. It gets a little convoluted. I don't know, but I do love them as directors. I mean, I think they just make stuff that is just really beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. No, the even you kind of already know you're in for it from the like I just remember the first, even like the opening scene of the movie is like that the swirling colors with the Warner Brothers logo in the
Oh
middle.
my
It's like
god, it was.
as soon as it starts, you already have a headache. You haven't even made it out of the first scene yet.
But
Um,
also, this movie, it's interesting because it's another "Who's It For" challenge, right?
Mhm.
Where they rolled out a gazillion dollars worth of toys for this movie. This was a big toy movie. Um, I don't know that children would really like this because I think it is so different from everything else that's out there. Um, and again, I think it's for film nerds later to look at it and say, "Wow, look at the incredible things they did." But as a mass market $120 million film, I don't really know who it's for. Maybe that's why it didn't really succeed at the box office, despite having sort of a cult following now.
so it's interesting. I'm gonna do a little comparison here between
Yeah.
Speed and Josie. They both really seem like films that okay, we know they weren't box office success at all, either of them.
Yep.
Um, b- they have a cult following now, but I think that their biggest contribution has been um serving as almost like time capsules for the future. They're almost like
Yes.
I think they're rare examples of films that are far more appreciated today. Because now, if you look at either one, the what people are saying like, oh, Josie and the Pussycats was way funnier than anybody gave it credit for. It's a movie that we saw then and we didn't really see again. It jump started all these other quote unquote girl comedies like The Bridesmaids and Charlie's Angels. It like made it okay for there to be like the Charlie's Angels remake. It opened the door for all of these, also all of these like kind of nostalgic niche remakes, because up until then you didn't really see that. You saw like the only really the mainstream. For Speed, you had you wouldn't have had movies like Sin City, um, or The Watchmen. All that came out of Speed because of what the Wachowskis did
Yeah,
through
especially
Speed
in The
Racer.
Matrix, which is arguably the
Yeah,
most influential film of the last 30 years.
yeah. So, they're both they have historical significance, and they're both, I think, a lot more appreciated now for that than for their actual when their actual content when they came out. I'm wondering what opposed these so 2001 you had some
Yeah.
pretty big releases, I think.
No, no, great.
Speed was what, 2008 we said.
Speed was 2008. I can tell you
Mhm.
the top 10 films of that decade because I was curious as well. At the top, The Dark Knight, followed by Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I can't believe that was the second highest grossing movie that year. Kung Fu Panda, Hancock, which I think is an underrated movie. Hancock is actually a really good movie. Mamma Mia, Madagascar 2, Quantum of Solace, Iron Man, Wally, and The Chronicles of Narnia: Prince Caspian.
Okay, that's a tough lineup. That's a, that's there's a lot of that's a hard hitting movie year right there. Um, so I I mean, yeah, naturally you're gonna lose to movies like that.
Well,
Um, but
the other thing, by the way,
yeah,
is other than Indiana, well, I guess Chronicle. Well, all right, I was gonna make a point, and turns out not to be true once I think about it. No, I totally agree with you. You're looking at two movies, both based on existing IP properties, being rebooted in the same decade, both by directors who over directed them, to the point where it was a turnoff. And I think they're both worthy films, worth seeing and talking about. Are they the most 2000s movies? Boy, I struggle on both to really make that point that they represent this decade because they represent themselves, and that's about it. By the way, I think if Speed Racer came out today as a new movie on Netflix, it would be very successful. And I think people would be going ham over it on social media. So, whoa, this is crazy. We've never seen anything like this before. This is cool. Um, I think both of these movies are right place, wrong time,
that's it.
unfortunately.
That's
And
it.
and
Right place,
and for
wrong time.
and for a movie series where we pick the best of this time, kind of hard to do that with these movies.
Yeah, they don't. I don't know if they fit the mold for our purposes. I'm glad that I watched both of them. I'll say
Yes,
that.
I
Very
agree.
glad that I saw them. Like,
I
I got
agree.
to. Yeah, very glad. Um,
Well, let's continue on because we got two more movies here. Both, I think, almost the total opposite of the first two in a way. Why don't we talk about our next film here, and let's do Transformers. I picked this one, the 2007 film directed by Michael Bay, based on the Hasbro toy line, starring Shia LaBeouf as one of my favorite named characters in cinema, Sam Witwicky. Oh, look at that. We have a chat here. Cheap viewers on streamboo.com. All right. Thank you. Great comment. Came out in July of 2007. And a massive success, Matt. You want to talk about the box office? Transformers was the fifth highest grossing movie of that year. Bonus points, Matt, if you can name any of the other top 10 highest grossing movies of 2007.
I was just distracted by the cheap viewers. I'm wondering, Stream Boo makes me think of, like, is that you see like ghosts there? Is it like a
Well, yeah, the
ghost
viewers are ghosts.
stream?
You didn't know
Yeah.
that?
Then you get to watch
They still count
um
as views.
yeah, yeah, you know what? If if bots count, I don't know why ghosts don't count. 2007,
Yes.
you had you had Casino Royale, right?
It's not in the top 10.
What?
What? I will say the four movies above it are all entries in, without a doubt, the four biggest, among the four biggest franchises of the decade. The only one not in here is I would say, Lord of the Rings, is the other
Yeah,
big franchise I'm thinking
I
of.
was
Not
gonna
one
say
of
you're
those.
missing. Those are done by
Those are
2007.
done, but these are
Yeah,
all part of the biggest franchises of the decade.
Pirates of the Caribbean,
Number
probably
one,
on there.
Pirates of the
Yep,
Caribbean at World's End.
the worst one. Okay,
Yes.
By the way, that was the closest one of the closest times I've ever come to leaving a theater was seeing
Yes,
seeing at
that
World's End.
they ripped us off on
Um,
that one.
I was real close to walking out. Another time I was real close to walking out, unfortunately, was the last the Rise of Skywalker. Um,
Oh, yeah.
Also real close to walking out
Oh,
on that one.
that's a brutal one.
Yeah. So another franchise. So you don't say. Pirates of the Caribbean is on there. What else? Big franchises of the 2000s. Could there be a Spider-Man movie in there?
Oh, how about
Perhaps
number 3
Spider-Man
is
3?
Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3, okay. Which, incidentally, not that bad of a movie,
It got
actually.
it
Not that bad of a movie. I didn't recently I've kind of revisited it, and let me tell you, just not that bad. Like,
m
it got a bad rap in the moment, but it's aged pretty good. Pretty
I my log line on Spider-Man 3 is the worst moments of that movie are abysmal. Like, the worst moments are truly terrible, but there aren't enough of those to ruin the movie.
I think is especially maybe this is just old man yelling at clouds, but especially like looking at movies today
Oh,
and
yeah.
how god awful many
No,
of
it's a
them
real
are,
movie. It's
and how
directed
they
by
get
a
a
good
pass.
director and acted by good people. It's a real movie. And by the way, it doesn't help that it's compared to Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, which are some of the best movies of all time. So the
Yeah,
bar was way too high anyway.
like obviously it's inferior to those two movies, but
Right.
and even for at the time, maybe it was one of the worst movies ever. But just so much bad crap, especially with superhero movies, have happened since then. We've
Yeah.
just been exposed to so much pablum and diarrhea on film that this I give it a pass. I give Spider-Man 3. I think it's a fairly competent movie. You're right. The worst moments are really bad. But
Yes.
they're really bad, but I think as a whole, something about it works. There's a charm to it
Yes.
that that the modern Marvel movies and superhero movies in general, so many of them lack that charm, that
Agreed.
affability, and yet they gross a billion more.
Yeah. Well, we're
So
going to talk about franchises a lot
yeah,
here. So, by the way, the other two you missed were Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, and then
wouldn't have got
Shrek the
that.
Third,
Okay,
as
definitely
well.
would not have got that one.
Um,
Yeah.
I picked Transformers. I picked it because I haven't seen the first one in a long time. The sequels I've seen a bunch because again they run on cable or they're just on or whatever, and they are the worst. Transformers may be one of the most garbage franchises out there that has been driven into the ground. That being said, I remembered liking the first one a lot. So I was curious, is this a franchise that has always sucked or was it good at one point? That's why I wanted us to watch and talk about this. I have opinions, but Matt, what did you think of Transformers?
Sean, it would surprise you to know that I had never seen any of the Transformers movies.
Oh, don't
Um,
see anything. Matt, if you thought At World's End was bad, I dare you to watch like Transformers 3 or 4. Go for it. Then we'll talk
I
bad
I
sequels.
barely got through this one.
Yeah.
I did not have a good time. I This was one that I was on my phone a lot. I was distracted a lot. I was not interested in anything that was really happening. The sad thing is that story-wise, it starts out pretty interesting, kind of up until Optimus Prime shows up. And even Optimus Prime is
I agree.
cool, but it's just like that's kind of where things start getting dumb. They just start getting dumb and silly, and like I knew what was gonna happen. You could just see the entire movie play out in front of you, and you know what's gonna happen. So I completely lost interest. And this is maybe like not even 30 minutes into the film. Um, Michael Bay, I'm not. I also think people hate on him too much. To be
Yes.
honest, I think that he is a competent director. He is not all just about the explosions. He loves explosions, but like he grew up in an era where the action movies had explosions and it was something that you know we all think is very like nobody leaves the theater thinking like oh nothing really happened. There's all this like pyrotechnics, fireworks. I just don't think it aged well. I think
Yeah.
it actually aged quite poor. The CG, the quality, all aged real bad, like milk. And it was just dumb, and I would never want to watch another Transformers movie again. I also have no love for the franchise. I didn't grow up watching like the
Right.
'80s show or anything like that, so I didn't play with the toys. There was just nothing there for me. I found Shia LaBeouf annoying. Um, I just it wasn't yeah, it just
Wasn't
wasn't my
good.
thing.
Uh, I agree with you on some things, and I actually disagree with you on others. I think, by the way, Michael Bay, the fifth most commercially successful director in history. Bad Boys 2, The Rock, Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, the Transformers films. I thought, well,
The
let
Rock,
me go.
by the way, one of my favorite movies of all
I've
time.
never seen The
Love
Rock. We should
oh,
watch The Rock.
that's a really good one. Yeah.
I think things that worked in this movie. Uh, I I like that. Unlike the sequels, it's a little bit grounded. Yes, it's robots from outer space, but it feels. And you're right that the first part of the movie is actually kind of good, where it feels like those old movies of the young kid in school trying to get the hot girl. Um, kind of interrupts his life with these strange things. Like it felt kind of good in its start. I actually didn't mind Shia LaBeouf. I think this movie needs him to kind of be annoying. Um, and I actually I'm a fan. Eagle Eye is a great movie, Shia LaBeouf's film from around this time. He's actually very good in that too. I actually liked him in this. I didn't mind him. I don't know who else I would have cast because I felt like he played the kind of like what guy really well. I actually thought the CGI looked really good. I that is one thing I will say about all the Transformers movies is Michael Bay does the CGI really well. It's very detailed, it's intricate. The robots feel like they make sense in this world. It's 2007, so it's not as advanced as what we have today. But I thought, as far as CGI of this era goes, this is some of the better stuff. And the last thing is, Michael Bay, you're right, directs action like nobody. And I thought the action in this movie was very good. It was compelling to watch, explosions, excitement. It was shot dramatically, edited dramatically. I really enjoyed it. All of that being said, um, I forgot how much military worship there was in this movie, which really bummed me out. Because it was, and how much product placement there was in this movie, because that really bummed me out. Um, Shia LaBeouf is fun for 40 minutes and then gets really annoying after a while. That's not fun. The whole Megan Fox's sexy thing is really annoying and kind of gross. Um, the robots aren't particularly likable. I guess Bumblebee, but the choice to not give him a real voice is not helpful. And I agree with you, Optimus Prime is no fun. Uh, the military guys make no sense in the plot to me. Like, and by the way, Matt, I'll let you in on a little secret. The military guys show up in like 4 more Transformers movies, even though they have no reason to. Josh Duhamel is still cashing checks.
Still
And Tyrese. So, uh,
great. And I'll never know because I'll never watch them.
oh, listen, Matt, is it the 5th one stars Anthony Hopkins alongside Shia LaBeouf replacement Mark Wahlberg, in which we learn that the Transformers have actually been on Earth for thousands of years and were around with like the Knights of the Round Table.
They dragged Sir Anthony
Yep.
Hopkins
Yep.
into the Transformers franchise. What?
Yep.
That's like
Matt,
Helen Mirren. That's like when Helen Mirren showed up in Fast and the Furious, and I
basically,
was like, oh no,
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 you
what?
could see
Like,
him literally cashing the paycheck in the movie.
oh no,
We might have to watch these on the show. You would be shocked at some of the things they pull in these movies. They're in the 4th one. The whole like 3rd act takes place in China and has a ton of Chinese product placements so they could sell the movie in China. And the Chinese government's the hero.
of course.
It's
So,
really
I mean,
weird.
just like in real life. So, Sir Patrick Stewart, famously got pulled in to do he's Professor Xavier, right? They got him to be, which we'll talk about very soon, but
It's expensive to be a
it's the same
successful
thing.
actor.
It's like, what are you doing in this movie? Like, yeah. But
Sad.
Sir Anthony Hopkins, does he get into? Does he get into transform? Like, what is he? What is he? Does he be?
I
Is
have
he
not.
Is he one of the Transformers?
No, he's not a
He's
Transformers.
human. Okay.
Although, by the way, another thing that really pissed me off is in the second movie, we learn that Transformers can look exactly like humans, except they do it once and never again in another movie.
What?
So stupid.
They should have.
There's no
Actually,
logic.
I think Sir Anthony Hopkins would be a good. He would probably make a better Decepticon, right? Those are the
The bad guys.
the
That's
bad
right.
guys. He would probably be a better one of that. That would have been missed opportunity. Who does the voice of Optimus Prime?
That's a really good question.
Because I actually thought he was pretty good.
Peter
I
Cullen,
didn't
the
mind
great
him.
Peter Cullen,
Okay.
who not only voiced the original Optimus Prime in the original animated series,
Yeah.
but he did Eeyore in Winnie the Pooh. He did Monterey Jack and Chippendale's Rescue Rangers.
Oh no, he's very famous. Yeah, he's
Um, he's great.
he's
Uh,
one of the legends of voice acting. He was
yeah.
excellent.
And by the way, Megatron, played by the great Hugo Weaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this I really wanted to like this movie. I really was like, I remember it being great, and you know what? Fuck everybody else. It's a great no, it's not a good movie. It's not. I don't think it's as bad as the others, and I don't think it deserves for a toy turned into a movie concept. I don't think it's a disaster. I think there are some redeeming elements, but overall, it's not a great movie. Now that being said, in terms of 2000s-ness, I would make a case that this kind of feels like this decade, right? Where it's the reboot turned into the franchise. Obviously the decade of franchises. We just listed a bunch of them. This was the decade that kicked off the we're going to take a property and we're going to turn it into 10 movies. And the Transformers, Harry Potter being turned into movies doesn't surprise anyone. Spider-Man being turned into movies. This was a toy being turned into a live action CGI mega franchise, billions of dollars at the box office. That obviously continued far into the future. I feel like the CGI feels very 2000s. I feel the military aspects feel very 2000s. Michael Bay feels very 2000s. So I would make the case that yeah, that this film feels like it fits the decade. But what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, of our choices tonight, this one is a strong one for our purposes. Again, we have
Yeah,
to remind everybody at home we're not picking the best movie of the category. We're picking the most 2000s.
that's
And
right.
you're going to be hard pressed to get more 2000s than Transformers. Um I just felt like everybody had posters from this movie um in their basements, in their college dorms. I felt like the this was such a late 2000s cultural touchstone for what it was. Um, and one of the first big international, like you mentioned, uh, trying to incorporate the Chinese audience viewing it.
Yes.
You know, that was one of the earliest movies I think to like big action set pieces that focused on bringing in the Chinese audience. Then of course you have the Avengers that'll come out a couple years later and really hone in on that. But um yeah, very 2000s. All across checks all the boxes. But yes, I wanted to also just kind of contribute on your point earlier that you made was the over I even back then I felt and I still feel this today even more so. I felt that the over sexualization of Megan Fox was really creepy and weird and I did not like it. And I still don't like it. Especially since she's supposed to be a high school student in that movie. So very
Yeah,
strange.
but they all
Didn't
look
really
like they're
like it at all.
30. Like
Yeah,
it's just
it was just weird, and yeah, no, you have a point also with the over militarization thing there. It's very much a product of its time, and doesn't really hold up super well in some regards, but it's um it's very 2000s, and that's what we're here to look at is
yes.
our 2000s picks. So
Yes. Um well, good. Well, Matt, we still have one more movie here. And this is one I'm excited to talk about. X-Men Origins: Wolverine, 2009's film as part of the X-Men film series, the first spin-off of which there were actually two others, and technically a prequel to 2000's X-Men. Everyone's favorite, Hugh Jackman, is back, and he brings some new friends. Film released in May of 2009, a success at the box office, but no other X-Men spin-off movies ever made it to theaters. And instead, they just rebooted the whole franchise with a film I think is great, X-Men First Class. Um, Now, Matt, you hadn't seen this before. I believe that's true.
Mm, no, I thought I hadn't, but I remembered I did see. I think I did actually see this in theaters. I must have just blocked it out of my
That's
memory. But
understandable.
after conversing with friend of the show and co-host of tomorrow's canceled podcast, Patrick, he confirmed that we did in fact see this in theaters together when it came out. So I just don't remember any of it at all. So there's that. We must have seen it at some point. But I did a due diligence. I did a rewatch of it, and still don't really. It was okay. It was another one that I felt very distracted through. I didn't
Mm.
really. I made it through the whole thing somehow, but um, it wouldn't have been something I would have watched on my own. I'll put it that way, without having having to be subjected to it for the whims and entertainments of our listening audience.
Yeah, I actually find this movie very funny. I think it's bad, but I think it's bad in a funny way where it doesn't make a lot of sense. The characters are ridiculous, including Will I Am in his live acting debut as John Wraith. You've got
Was he in any other movies
that's a
after
great
this?
question. I don't think
I'm gonna look
so.
up his
Filmography.
filmography.
Nope. That other than playing himself or a voice, no, he is not.
So this is his one and only film appearance.
Yep. And according to this, the casting director didn't like him and didn't want to cast him.
Will I Am is 50 years old.
Yeah. He's ridiculous in this. Dominic Moynihan is very stupid in this. The Blob. I mean, come on. This is Agent Zero, everyone's favorite character, Agent Zero. You've got Ryan Reynolds famously as Wade Wilson in this movie as Deadpool, a movie that ruined the character so badly he then wanted to go and make his own Deadpool movie to honor the character. Um, and of course, everyone's favorite, Lieb Schreiber, who has the mutant power of fingernails. No, this movie is so silly to me. There's so many moments. The CGI is bad. Oh, and mind you, this is after the first three X-Men movies, which have the same CGI but better. I mean, I think of the scene where he accidentally cuts up the bathroom sink, and it just looks, or the scene where they're fighting in the alley and he's like chopping through the
Yeah.
stairs. It looks
Yeah, yeah.
so
That one
bad.
I remember I was like, is there something wrong with my like TV? I was like, this what is happening? What is I thought maybe they had it was like it looked like something that a high schooler or like young college student would make now. Probably worse, actually. They probably could
Yeah.
do better with their own
Well,
personal technology that people
it,
have
it,
access to today.
it's almost like the movie ran out of money as they shot it, because as you start, it doesn't look too bad,
That's
and
true, yeah.
what's funny is they do that, which I will give them credit for, that awesome scene with all the explosions where he's fighting Agent Zero and them outside of the farm. Big explosions. He jumps to hit the helicopter. It's awesome. Like, that shot looked really expensive. And then I feel like everything after that, like by the time they get to 3 Mile Island, like it looks like they had no money. Like, it's shocking how cheap that finale looked. Um, it just didn't look good.
Yeah.
But that being said, I do find it weirdly charming. Like it there's just, and maybe it's just because again, this is a movie I've seen on cable. Matt, I'm not joking to you. Prepare yourself for this. I own this on Blu-ray.
Part of your Criterion collection,
It
huh?
is part of my now. To be fair, I bought a box set that had all the X-Men movies, and they threw this one in for free because no one wanted it. But I you know what? I should do the director's commentary on this. I think that would be a hoot. Um,
How but just a quick sidebar, how do you curate your physical media collection? Like, do you seek out movies that are like near and dear to your heart to own personal copies of? Like now in the days of streaming, it's kind of like you can pick and choose, right? You don't have to own everything or are you one of those like pack rats that's like,
mm,
I need to hoard physical media? I think I probably know the answer to this, but for our listeners at home, how do
It's a
you
great question.
how do you do it? How do you
It, I
manage it?
should say I have specifically for like discs, because books are different. For discs, I've basically given up on physical media as of right now. I just bought not too long ago a network attached storage drive where I can put as many movies as I want on it, stream it to any device in my house. I may have borrowed the movies for this series that I can watch on any device. It's very convenient. When I was buying physical media, I literally just cleaned my bookshelf. I bought all like TV shows on DVD, which in hindsight is kind of stupid because A, I don't watch them, and B, it's like 8 discs a set. But when it
Yeah,
comes to my Blu-ray,
Sean, you're talking to the guy that owns the entire original series of Star Trek: The Next Generation,
yeah,
digital remaster and original copy,
of course you need both.
DS9 and Voyager, all in the entirety. That's just more out of fear that that they're gonna go away. I feel like I need to have them, but those are bulky box sets. Also all of the entire Twilight Zone got the box set of
Listen,
that.
Matt, you're talking to a guy who owns both the first 3 seasons of House and the first 5 seasons of 24 on DVD. You want to talk about big box sets? No, the movies I have on DVD are a mix of movies I really love and will watch over and over, and movies I want people to see are on my bookshelf when they visit my house. Like I wouldn't put something on there that was like, oh, I bought it because it was $1 and I tried it and I didn't really like it. Like that would not end up on my bookshelf. If you walk up and there's a movie on there, it means I can explain to you why it's awesome and you should watch it. For some reason, I don't have Josie and the Pussycats. Maybe they never did a Blu-ray because that's definitely one I would have on there. But I'm trying to think of the types of movies Galaxy Quest I have on Blu-ray. That's an awesome movie. Heavyweights is a movie I really love.
Heavyweights, yeah, okay.
Heavyweights, I have that on Blu-ray. I do have, like I said, the X-Men movies. I have Star Wars on Blu-ray. It's a good mix of stuff. You'll see it when you're up in town. But
Pretty soon.
yeah, no, I am particular, but I just don't buy physical media anymore.
I started building a little bit of a collection, but it's really, for me, it's a criterion. It's just some of my favorites. And some of the harder to find stuff too. If it's like often pulled from streaming, or like it's a movie that I know I'm gonna want to watch again and again. Like I have at my disposal right here one of them right now. I don't usually keep them up in this room; they're in my basement. But one of my favorite comedy films of all time, the Clue movie. I've got the
That's
DVD right
one.
here.
And they're celebrating it, aren't they? It just hit an anniversary.
It did,
That's
yeah.
a one I would love to watch.
Yes. Maybe I'll bring it over. We can watch it after the Big E. Yeah. 1985. This was so it hit its 40th
It's a classic.
anniversary.
Getting us back on track here. One of the other reasons I'm glad we talked about this movie is because, again, its place in the 2000s. And you can certainly say Transformers became a successful franchise. Whether or not the movies were good is beside the point. The thing about X-Men Origins Wolverine is it is very representative of the failed spinoff, of the franchise gone awry needing a reboot. We talked previously on an episode about why did my mind just blank? What was the movie we talked about in a past episode?
It was Daredevil. Talking about Daredevil?
Oh, Daredevil and Elektra. I mean,
Yeah.
those movies that caused Marvel to really take a look at what they were doing with their lives. This movie caused the franchise to get rebooted. And we've talked about how the 2010 is a very successful time for comic book franchises, with Marvel really coming into its own in that decade. But this decade felt very indicative of, we tried and didn't succeed. And I think this is a poster child for it, namely because the first 3 X-Men movies were wildly successful. They did really well. And by the way, the first 2 are very good. The third one is like just the worst. But the first 2 are very good. And so it's very interesting to me that this one tanked as hard as it did. I mean, I'm just looking at like other superhero movies from this decade. Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, which are not bad movies, but certainly not wildly successful. Superman Returns an attempted reboot at that franchise that s- stunk. I mean, it wasn't a bad movie, but it just didn't get the job done until Man of Steel, Catwoman, Constantine. I mean, they were throwing a lot at the wall in this decade, um, that weren't particularly successful.
Superman Return had the memes though. It was one of had some that was with Lex Luthor. Wasn't that the one where he was like wrong? That was
Yes.
everywhere for that had a moment, late 2000s. Um, yeah, no, no, say it again. Say it one more time. He goes, "Wrong." All over the YTMND on that one. Um,
Honestly, you could argue one of the best superhero films of this decade was Hancock. I might stand by that.
that was Kevin Spacey, right, as Lex Luthor in that one? No?
Yes. Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Oh my god, Hulk and the Incredible Hulk. Jumper. Remember Jumper? Did you ever see
Yeah.
Jumper with Hayden
No.
Christensen?
No, I did not. Have not seen
That's
Jumper.
a I've seen on cable movie, and it's not great.
Hayden Christensen, another actor that is overhated.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he gets a lot of flack for what is really kind of poor writing, script writing in Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones. There was something I was gonna say about one of the actors in this one. Uh
Oh, which one?
oh no, I'm sorry. I'm going back to Transformers. Was this Shia LaBeouf's? Was this his first movie since Holes? Was he
That's a
in
really great
other stuff?
question. I don't the thing is, let me look at his filmography because I don't know the order. He was in a bunch of them around this time. No. So he was in Holes. He was in apparently these are all just smaller. I Robot, Constantine, some smaller stuff. Disturbia was a leading role for him. But that came out in '07 as well, and then the following year he's in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull as well as Eagle Eye, followed by 2009 the sequel Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. He does Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, then Transformers Dark of the Moon, and then his career's basically over.
And now he's like a monk now or something. He does like
Yeah, he went through some stuff.
he's doing all
Um,
kinds of
a
things.
little bit, just a little bit.
Mhm.
But yeah, he had like a 4-year reign of terror on Hollywood, man. He was the it boy.
So, what do we think of what do we think of this movie? Does it ooze 2000s?
I think in some ways so and now we're just gonna get to the he was in a movie with Tom Hardy and Jessica Chastain that was really good, but I don't remember the name. When would that have been? More recently? Um, Tom Hardy and Jessica Chastain.
Was it Lawless?
Hey,
Yes,
could be.
there it is.
Yep.
Thank the internet. Yeah, Lawless. Shia LaBeouf, Tom Hardy, Jessica Chastain, 2012.
Yep. Some serious work on his side. Screened at the Cannes Film Festival.
Hmm.
Good pull. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at all these movies, and I do think X-Men certainly represents the 2000s and to some degree, no doubt about it. But boy, when I think of the 2000s in movies, and we'll define this more as we get closer to the end, what is the decade as a whole in a single summation? Hard to say, but I do think franchise is a big part of it. If you think back to the 90s, you didn't really have a lot of movies that were a top 10 movie every entry every 2 years when they released a new one. That was new to this decade. I think CGI really came of its own this decade. Yeah, it was around in the 90s, but it was light and it was crappy. And I think it really came of age in this decade. I think um, movies getting worse came of life in this decade. IP related films, I think, came to life in this decade. Not just book adaptations and comic book adaptations, but adaptations of literally anything that exists in reality. Um, and I think of the four movies we talked about tonight, I really do think Transformers is a really strong candidate to say, boy, of the 2000s, for better or worse, is it a great movie? No, it is a unique movie. I think it is a decently representative movie of the decade. I think X-Men would probably be my second out of the four tonight, and I do think there's elements there, but for me, tonight's pick is Transformers. What do you think?
Um, I have to agree. Of all these choices, the one that I'll say my personal pick, the one I ended up enjoying the most was Speed Racer.
Yeah,
Even though and Josie and the Pussycats real close contender. I think Josie and the Pussycats is the one I find myself most likely to return to. I wouldn't mind doing a rewatch like now. It was that good. Um,
absolutely.
it was just a fun. That was the most fun. I had the most fun with Josie. I think I found the most redemptive value in Speed Racer. Um, but of the one that's the most 2000s is probably Transformers. And then the one that I kind of wish I had never seen was Wolverine. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I guess that's how I would rank them today. So we finally agreed. This is the first time I think we have agreed.
slam dunk, slam dunk. Good
Yeah,
movies, sort of, but I think in terms of our task, our mission, we're aligned. So Transformers will move on to our next round, and Matt, we have two more genres we got to cover here on the show. So now we get to pick what we're going to do next week. All that's left, your two favorites, comedy and drama. We've got four comedy movies, four drama movies lined up. If you don't, would you like to be reminded of what those movies are?
I think the folks at home would certainly benefit.
Would find that helpful.
Yeah,
So we're going to eventually do both. It's just which do we do next week? Comedy, we're going to be watching Mean Girls, Super Bad, Scary Movie, and Jackass the movie, which I think is a really fun collection. I'm excited. I've seen some of those more recently. Some I haven't seen in a very long time. And then in the drama list, we have The Terminal, which I own on Blu-ray, Twilight,
right.
Planet of the Apes, and The Village. Wow, one of those is good. Interesting collections. Matt,
Yeah.
what do you think we should watch for next week?
Sean, there are two movies that I vowed that I would never ever watch, and I'm gonna break both of those. And those two movies, it was Transformers and Twilight,
Yeah.
and I'm breaking both of my sacred rules for the sake of this show. So, uh,
Shockingly enough, I've never seen Twilight, which seems like the kind of movie I would have like at least caught some of. I've never seen it.
yeah,
So,
because you're a guy that's usually with it when it comes to pop culture, and
well,
yeah,
like
I'm
you, I
surprised
think
you haven't.
I mean, listen, Matt, I saw The Terminal in
See,
theaters.
I see. I just don't give a shit. I'm very much a cultural luddite.
Snob.
I don't really care what's going on. I don't care about what everybody likes. I care about what I think is good. And
Uh,
so
can
I've
I make
never
a
seen it.
prediction?
But you have your finger on the pulse of humanity. That's what I'm
I know
saying.
a little bit about a lot
You're
of
an
things.
everyman, you know?
Matt, have you ever seen the 2001 Planet of the Apes?
Oh yes.
Okay. I think you don't have to reveal it now. I think you secretly like it. That seems like a Matt movie where you actually are like, actually, I like that movie.
Sean, that's not a secret. I do like that
Oh,
movie. I
no, no, no.
actually really like that
I know
movie.
your taste. And
I
by the
did.
way,
You do. Yeah,
I've
I
never
really
seen
like
it.
that movie. I do.
I've seen clips. I've never
I
seen the whole
wholeheartedly
thing.
like that movie.
Okay, great. Then
I thought it was cool.
I'm pretty jazzed to talk
But
about it.
not everybody hated on it.
No, it's
Well,
widely
this is
decried.
very therapeutic. I feel like I can actually admit for the first time that I like 2001 Planet of the Apes. I
I'm
do.
excited. I'm actually I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of excited to watch all four of
And
these movies.
I saw that movie on TV. I saw it was like a limited TV release.
Yep.
That's when I watched it. So I didn't even
Yep.
see the did they ever release it for theaters? They must
Oh
have.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No, it was a big. It was like a big hyped release.
I watched it. Sean, I VHS taped that movie.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Let's go.
recorded it. It was
Well,
like,
wait till you see the monkeys in
yeah.
4K. They're gonna look great.
Oh yeah.
No, that The Village. I actually am excited to see. I've never seen that. Twilight and The Terminal. I could basically quote you every scene from that movie. For some reason, I have opinions. So all right, we'll do drama next week. I think this will be
Yeah.
fun. I'm pretty
Yeah, let's do
excited.
it. We'll wrap
Everyone
up
out
with
there,
comedy the week
watch
after.
the films too. Join along. So appreciate Jilly Jubilee who's been hanging out in the chat. I agree. 24 is a great show. And anyone who joins us live on our Twitch channel, when we do this, make sure you follow us to get alerted when we go live. And Of course, if you haven't listened to our past reviews on action and kids movies and other things, you can go to upfordebate.tv and get all our past episodes. The video versions are on YouTube. You can see my cat, and the audio versions are available wherever you get podcasts. You can check it out there. Make sure you subscribe. And of course, get a hold of us, upfordebatetv@gmail.com. Of course, Matt, I couldn't leave without mentioning our sister show over at Tomorrow is Canceled. Matt's show that he does with his pals, talking video games and anime and other things along that vein. I'm too cool for that, but if you're into it, y'all should definitely check it out. It is a really good show. They got great chemistry. It's a hoot.
Sean's our secret sauce. He comes on once in a while and he's like kind of the I don't know about video games guy. And we kind of like throw stuff at him
Hey,
and he'll be like,
I
what are you
owned
talking about?
I owned a Nintendo Switch for like an hour.
He's like,
So
I just play Tecmo Bowl on my
I played
Yes.
Balatro. Yeah, no, it is a really great show. So subscribe wherever you get podcasts. Tomorrow is Canceled. And of course, follow the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ what is it, Matt?
It is Twitch TV / Tomorrow is Canceled with 2 L's pod. Tomorrow is Canceled pod.
So easy to remember. No, it's great,
We have
Matt.
an Instagram. I want to plug the gram. We also have an Instagram.
Please. What is
Tomorrow
it?
is
Instagram?
Canceled pod on IG. That's our handle. I'm told that's what they're called, handles.
Yep.
So
no, both are great. Make sure to follow the Twitch account. Matt's playing Blueprints, which has been a ton of fun. I would recommend it. It's great. They're doing great stuff over there.
yeah, we are going live. I am going live this Friday. Just 2 short days. I will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a good feeling about it. I think we're gonna finish. I think it's because it's on a Friday. Typically, it's on a Tuesday. Typically, we stream Tuesday night, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. But because it's a Friday night, because it's gonna be we're gonna go a little bit longer. I think we might do like 7 to 10 or something like that. I know I got to get up early and drive up to your place the next day to experience the Big E, but I have a really good feeling about this stream. So tune in. We're gonna get to room 46. We're gonna get in room 46. We are gonna celebrate. How do we celebrate getting into room 46? What do we do for that? What's a good blueprint?
You have to eat 46 cupcakes.
46 blue cupcakes?
Yep. You blow out the candle on each, and then because you're celebrating room 46.
They're like blue. I would say like blue icing vanilla cupcake, or are we saying like blue icing and blue cupcake?
Well, you can mix and match. I mean, Matt, you have to eat 46 of them, so they don't all have to be the same.
We're talking about like that's the kind of cupcake that you end up with a blue toilet at the end of it.
Oh yeah, well you have the blue mouth. Blue. You don't want to do
blue
that.
Mouth, the whole thing. I think that's right. I think that's how we got to celebrate. We got to celebrate room 46 blue cupcakes. Yes.
I think it's great. Get Katie to work. No, that's wonderful. It's great over there. So check that out. But we're out of time here. So we appreciate all of you joining us as always. Much appreciated. We're going to be back next week with some dramatic films. But until then, on behalf of Matt, I'm Sean. We'll see you next time on another Up for Debate.